Oh, yeah, we are back and we are live.
Yeah, it's that time again, baby. Monday night. I used to think the only good thing on a Monday night was Monday Night Raw, but no, it's actually visionary value, bro. Mm, I love
Word, let me
this.
just start out by saying I love your hat. I love your
Oh,
hat.
do
It's
you?
fresh and that's clean, man. What is that?
Hey, I was
I
wearing
love
one of
your
these
hat.
last week. I was wearing one of these last
Word.
week, bro. So it looks like you went and copied my style, bro. What's
I
going
had to,
on?
man. It was hurting me, man. And then, I also love your shirt. Let's go.
Whoa, yo, yo. There's two T-Qron t-shirts and two talented mother effer hats. Craziness.
I
Oh
decided this
boy.
is official PT Pod uniform. Like, if you come to work for PT Pod, this is the hat and the shirt you got to wear to get on the premises. You know what I mean? To get that badge that you swipe to get into the studios. You know what I mean? So,
Let it
yeah.
be known, Mike's trying to be my doppelganger over here.
I'm not trying. See, man, you try to support people and they do that. They're like, nobody supports this. Like, well, maybe
No man, that's dope.
if you had
I hope you
adjusted
rock
your
that shirt out
attitude.
there. Proud. That's what's up, man.
I love it, man. I tell people, man, I'm able to do other shows and stuff a lot. And I tell them always, I'm like, man, check out T-Qron. Because, you're on a
Uh,
lot of shows with a lot of podcasters. They have their own stores, they have their own gear, stuff like that. And
yeah,
that's good. And we
absolutely.
support them. But I'm always like, man, for me, I'm like, go to T-Qron. You check out T-Qron stuff. Of course, the feed. Just check their stuff out. That's how you support me
Yeah.
ultimately. Speaking of
Yep. Yep.
support, man, how has the market supported you this week? Talk to me. What's been
Marcus.
good?
So a bit of the same old same, right? From the last few weeks. Let's be honest. Long term portfolios still in the red. It's all good. No big deal. My Nvidia positions are still up. Nvidia took a big dip to like I think it was about I'd like to say about 163, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. 162, 163, somewhere around there. And then it kind of rebounded back to like 170, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Like a $10 move. Yeah, I was hoping Nvidia would fall to like 150, 140. Um, I would load up on more. I did not, but what I did do was trade. Well, not trade, but I profited on some gold and silver plays. Got back into gold and silver when everybody was dumping it and running for the hills. You
Let's
remember when it
go.
crashed a couple weeks ago? Yeah, man, happy about that. Made a nice little chunk of change on that. I showed you my little move that I made that day. So long term, trading portfolio, yeah, and that's kind of I'm okay. I'm not worried. There may be some more downside. Um, what are your thoughts on the upcoming week? Because it was a short week this week. It was only 4 days. Markets were closed for Good Friday, of course. Um, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, and same also, man, kind of in a hold, almost like a you know what I mean? Almost like a hold right now. Not a whole lot of information coming out.
Right.
Because I think nobody knows what's really going on. So, our
Mm,
market, a lot of our market is based on speculation, specifically
it
gold and
is.
silver.
It
But
is.
all of our market is kind of based on speculation to a certain extent. And yeah, man, there's like no spec. Everybody's like, maybe a thing. I mean, bears
Hmm.
are doing bull moves, bulls are doing bear moves. It's wild
Right.
out there. I'll show you this right here. Speaking of those precious metals. All
Hmm.
right. So these are the current live prices here. No, I'm not ready to invest with your company. But as you can see here, spot gold is down. Spot silver is down just a little bit.
Right.
And they opened at 70, closed at 69.59 right there. And then
But but it's important to note that it's on the way up from where it was the last couple of weeks. You know what I mean?
correct,
Yeah.
correct. And then you've got platinum, palladium are up. American Eagle Gold is down, but not by too much. Like I said, it's just all over the place right now. You know what I mean? So then you've got your actual bullion prices, which are taking a fall, which to me means buy, 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 buy. And then I wanted to focus over here on your silver markets right here. You've got your silver and how much it is, your purity, what you can
Right.
find here. Now, silver is the market right now. Silver is where to go. It shot up. Everything you're seeing that's kind of down with silver right now has to do with
Mhm.
the fact that it shot so far up in the war prep, in the concern and war prep. It shot so far up.
Right. Oh, and one quick thing before Mike continues. It's not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. So when you heard him say bye, 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 he did say to me, that's bye, bye, bye. This is our opinions. Your wins are your wins. Your losses are your losses.
Hey, I told you, man, my goal is to have you to lose money. You listen to me and lose money. If you
Oh,
listen
so
to
you
me and
trying to
make
be Jim
money,
Cramer? You trying to be Jim Cramer light?
exactly.
Is that what it is?
Yes. Right now, what you got to do is buy horse stock. Horses, they're the next big thing. Everybody's going to be riding them. They're going to be racing. They're going to be pulling carriages. Buy
No,
horses.
but you might. You know what? That might be 100% accurate with gas prices being between $6 and $7.
That's, man.
Bro, it was it's 536, 540 something out here. Like at the regular old gas station, you know what I'm saying? 540, 550 type almost. Woo.
Yep. That's true. Let's see here. Year to date. Yeah,
What's the
see,
prices
silver
out
is
there?
so far up. I was just going to
Mm,
show you silver.
mm.
So May of 2025 was 32.43, and it May 1st. Let's see here. What is that? May 1st. Let's
Mm.
go all the way back to
Yeah, look at
April.
that chart,
Beginning of
man.
April
Look at that
29, and then
chart.
yeah.
Wow.
So look at that. So basically, if you bought 1 year ago today, you would have bought silver at 29.57 for a silver future traded ounce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's 70. As of today, it is $73.
Hell
So you're
yeah.
looking at
Hell
29. Wow. That's
yeah.
crypto level performance. You know what I mean?
Hell
When you
yeah.
talk precious metals, for those
But
that
that's
may not know,
why
that is rare for precious metals to do that
but
good, man.
But that's why there's memes out there that are talking about this ain't this ain't your grandpa's gold trade. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
you're
This
right.
ain't your,
Yeah.
because why did quote unquote boomers like, and people that like to play it safe, why do they buy stuff like that? Because that's what it is. It's safe, right? There's no volatility. But look at that. Like,
It's
what kind of a move
crazy.
is that? Like you just pointed out, it's a crypto move type. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yep.
crazy. Like gold, silver ain't supposed to move like that. But
And silver has always been one of those, yeah, man. And I mean, what I loved about, and it still is, but what I loved about silver is that it is affordable. So for the average person, they understand silver. You have silver. You got silver in your home. You understand not only is it decorative, it is also, a great metal,
mhm.
for your pipes and things of that nature.
It's
Then in
very
addition to
essential
that,
for a
yeah.
lot of things that people aren't even aware of that use like silver. That's the
Well,
crazy part. And
heavy equipment and machinery, and now the data
exactly,
centers and all of that stuff. Silver is
exactly.
as valuable, if not more valuable to them than
Than
gold.
ever. Yep.
But yeah, once again, man, if you bought a year ago at $30, even though
You'd be
the
happy.
high was all 117, you still right now, if you're like, man, I'm holding. Yeah, you
You'd
bought a
happy.
23 at 73. That's just crazy, dude. You know
I'd
what
be
I mean? I
happy
would be super,
as
nobody would be
yeah.
unhappy. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you, hold. I'm telling you, hold. If not advice, but if you have silver and you're thinking, oh, sell now and make money, or hold because it could potentially go up. Everybody in the market is talking about how it's about to go up even more. Same thing with gold. We'll go over here and check gold. If you bought gold on Monday, April 7th, 2025, you'd have paid $2,983 for that share. Now it's worth 4,000 as of today. Well, 4,672.
Look
So
at that.
basically, yeah, man, you buy it right around $3,000. You
Look at
make
that.
1,000 in a year on it. That's
Look at
crazy.
that.
Anything I can drop and make 1,000. Now, what's crazy is the silver money's even more by percentage. You know what I mean? But still and yet, So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just crazy. That's just crazy. And we can check Dow Jones. Boom.
Well, you
That
got to
tracks the
think,
Dow Jones.
the percentage. I mean, gold costs more. It's in the thousands versus $20, $30, $70. You get what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
percentage moves, even though the percentage is bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like it may not amount to the same type of gains, but yeah, they're moving. And like I said, I personally have been trading them. This is the third time that I made money on leverage ETFs. I don't know why I keep playing leverage ETFs. Eh, it just yeah, it's thrilling. But anyways, a what is it? AGQ. That was a silver. It's a two-time leverage ETF for silver, and the other one is GDXU. It moves three times with the GDXU gold index. So if the GDXU gold index is up 10%, GDXU is up 30%. You dig? It
Yep.
magnifies the gains, but it also magnifies the losses. So please be very careful and have some balls of steel if you want to play leverage ETFs. And you're not supposed to buy and hold for too long. That's why I made that mistake. I'm still, unfortunately, paying for a couple of those mistakes, but you live, you learn, you learn. That's what the
Right.
market's about.
Yeah, that's true. And once again, man, you've made money in the up and down markets on this stuff. And I think that's important to keep in mind.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to approach from that one-sided angle of the markets have to be doing good for you to make money.
No
And we do that basically, but there's so many calls and puts that you can
options.
purchase,
Yeah,
options you
options.
can purchase. And then yeah, the
Mhm.
options of it going in and out,
Yeah,
as
I don't
far
play
as
options, but absolutely people are making big money, but also losing big money on options because that's an easy way to lose. You know what I'm saying? I will eventually. I'm just looking for the right person to train me on that stuff. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I'll start playing options soon. I want to have more capital to mess with when it comes to that stuff. But just getting that business all set up, allotting funds for that. Um, my artistry and my personal stuff. Yeah, just waiting, just waiting. But every day, every week, God is good.
absolutely.
I've been blessed. It's just stacking. That's all I can say. Just stacking.
That's what I'm saying. And to keep rolling with that, I want to. Okay, so as you know, like, and for those that don't know, there's been kind of a classic push pull with precious metals in crypto because those have always been, precious metals has been the long term, slow growth kind of thing that over time can make you very wealthy if you play it right and you're conservative and long term smart. Whereas Bitcoin is kind of the yin to that yang, which is if you play it hard and fast and know what you're doing or time it right, it hasn't. Excuse me, it hasn't been around long enough for it to be a long term idea.
Right.
Say for people living that long term thing right now. It's not like we have 100 years of
Yeah.
Bitcoin precedent to go off of, right? So very interesting. Some news is coming out. This is interesting. I don't know if you saw this. I wanted to show you this. This is very interesting. Google finds quantum computers could break Bitcoin sooner than expected. Have you heard of this?
Google's really on an agenda to try to just disrupt everything that AI and Bitcoin stands for, huh?
Well, I mean,
They
it's about
really try
breaking
to.
the
Yeah, I get it.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Have you heard though, man? Because it's about breaking the
No, I
thing.
haven't heard, but yeah, like I said, every time I see it, just last week you had some Google News, and I remember when they first talked about quantum computing and the Willow thing and all that, they just really trying to disrupt everything, which is great for them, you know what I'm saying? But then all these other companies, like the ones that I'm invested in, start going down. Anyways, keep going.
Okay, fair, fair, right? Fair, but by the same token, uh, I mean, if it's legit, right?
Yeah,
So
but do be pissing me off.
I know. I'm just saying, if it's legit, it's
Anyway, yeah,
legit.
continue with
So
what they got.
I just thought this was shocking and interesting, and I
Yeah,
wanted to
because if
show
you
it.
tell people that the Bitcoin, if Bitcoin can be like, it's not as indestructible as they think, then there's that.
Exactly, exactly. So this is just interesting to me because this is about Google cracking the Bitcoin code. So we're just going to watch a second of this and kind of break it down.
But they did not. Google just broke Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they did not release how to do it or what they did. Now, the news stories that we're seeing are that they've figured out they could, But what we're hearing behind the scenes is that Google actually figured out, using quantum computing, how to break the encryption on cryptocurrencies. They decided not to release the information because it would destroy the entire crypto market, which we long
What'd I just
suspected would
say?
happen. Google's basically saying, you've got a couple years to fix this. Otherwise, we are nuking cryptocurrencies. It's going to be big, my friends. Bitcoin, of course, has become massively popular.
You've got a couple of years to fix this, or we are nuking cryptocurrencies. He tells a little bit.
What did I just say a minute ago? I don't like them.
But they have not been implemented. So, my friends, imagine what happens when trillions of dollars in wealth is erased overnight and Google is just being nice. What if China cracks the code and decides to drop a nuclear bomb on Bitcoin? Here's the story from Forbes. Google just told the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency industry it has less time than it thought to prepare for the quantum computing influence. In a white paper published March 31st, Google quantum AI researchers demonstrated that breaking the elliptic curve cryptography protecting Bitcoin, Ether, and most major cryptocurrencies could require fewer than 500,000 physical qubits on a superconducting quantum computer. That's roughly a 20 times reduction from prior estimates, which pegged the figure in the millions. The paper carries serious institutional weight. Its co-authors include Justin Drake of the Ethereum Foundation, Dan Bana of Stanford, and 6 Google quantum AI researchers led by Ryan Babish and Hartmut Nevin. Google says it engaged with the U.S. government before publishing the names Coinbase, the Stanford Institute Blockchain Research, and the Ethereum Foundation as collaborators. It's important to understand that no quantum computer can execute this attack today. Google's most advanced chip, Willow, has 105 qubits.
It's important to remember that no quantum computer can execute this attack today. Something very important, of course, to keep in mind, I would think, right? So, yeah. Yeah, man. What do you think? It's interesting.
I told you what I think. I don't like it.
Well, I don't like it either.
I
How
still
about this?
stand on it.
How about, okay, fair.
He literally just said what I said a second before that.
No,
It's going to crash everything.
Right,
It's
right,
going
right.
to kill it.
But it's one of those, if it can be exploited, shouldn't we know it can
I
be
mean, yeah, but what
exploited?
what does it do for you? I mean, what are they going to do? Like rewrite the code on Bitcoin?
Yeah, it forces the people who
Like
create
what?
those things to fix the blockchain that they're on, or to make it more secure. Because the thought and the idea is, if Google can break it, China can break it. If people working with the U.S. government who have our best interest at heart that can show you that we can take this stuff out, because if the good guys who are being transparent can do it, the bad guys who would steal it all and crash the Bitcoin economy can also do it, right? So anyway.
Or they're giving them ideas to
The
start
difference between
researching it because they just found it. You know what I'm saying?
I completely man, come on now. Come on, man. Dude, hackers and criminals have one job, and that is to come up with ways to hack and commit crime. So if we're thinking about it, they already have. Some of the most brilliant minds on the planet are straight up hackers. Why? Because it's the best money return. You know, just like Rob said, the best investors in crypto are the hackers because they spend $0. They throw 1,000 lines out, and if one catches, boom, they're good. So,
Yeah. You know why
like
Google's being super aggressive, right? I'm gonna tell you, they're hurting because of the AI. Because more people are using ChatGPT and every other AI platform versus Google to literally run average Google searches, which is the most bare minimum type of task you could perform on on any AI platform.
And to be fair, they did it to themselves. Google search sucks as a basic product. That's something I try to talk to. I'm like, does anyone else see this anymore? And everybody else except Google it. I'm like, as a search engine product, my first 3 scrolls are all ads. A lot of them are for like unrelated things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
bro.
say I'm looking for, you know what I mean? I'm looking for local honey grown locally, and I want to find a local store. You know what I mean? That is a local owned store that sources.
And you're going to find 10 websites that are everywhere else, but you're in where you're at.
Amazon,
you know what I'm saying?
Walmart,
and you have to manually search
and you have to scroll through a bunch of sponsored stuff, and then there's articles on why honey might not be good for you. But I'm like, dude, I
That's what I
remember when I
say.
could go to Google and ask, and it would give me 5. I was like, there are 2 stores I didn't even know existed in my town. We're in a 20-mile radius. Very cool. You know what I mean? That's what Google used to be, and now it's not. So, but
Yeah,
let's get this.
as far as Google and the stock, I've profited off of trade before, just buying quick sell. It was a leverage ETF. GGL was the one. Other than that, I don't hold Google, and this is gonna make me not want to hold Google even more. Anyways, that's just it.
Current hardware and a machine capable of cracking Bitcoin's cryptography is shrinking faster than projected. Quote, my confidence in Q-Day by 2032 has shot up significantly. Drake, who joined the paper as a later co-author, wrote on X. Let's pull this up. He estimates at least 10% chance that a quantum computer recovers a private key from an exposed public key by that year. Bitcoin security relies on a single mathematical assumption that deriving a private key from a public key is computationally impossible for any existing machine. The specific math is called the elliptic curve, discrete logarithmic problem. Every time someone sends Bitcoin, they receive their public key. A classical computer would need longer than the age of the universe to reverse engineer the private key from it. But quantum computers break that assumption. An algorithm published by mathematician Peter Shor in 1984 solves ECDLP exponentially faster than any classical approach. A quantum computer with enough stable and error-correcting qubits running Shor's algorithm could derive a private key, forge a digital signature, and drain a wallet. Here's the post from X. Justin Drake says, today is a monumentous day for quantum computing and cryptography. 2 breakthrough papers just landed. Both papers improve Shor's algorithm, infamous for cracking RSA and elliptic curve cryptography. The 2 results compound, optimizing separate layers of the quantum stack. The results are shocking. I expect a narrative shift and further R&D boost toward post-quantum cryptography. The first...
That's crazy. That's crazy. We won't get into all that. Then there's one he gets into a little interesting here.
Tons of people trapped in the maze, and they're all dying, but that's besides the point.
He breaks it down.
And we filled every crack at the same time. A normal person trying to figure out that password, it might never be possible because the maze is massive. Then we figured something out. What if we poured water in and we filled every crack at the same time? Or a better way to explain it, how about instead of one person, we send thousands all in at the exact same time, and eventually and very quickly, one guy pops up the other side. And then he goes, he's holding a rope, and he goes, I figured it out. My rope brings you through the maze. Now, there are certainly tons of people trapped in the maze, and they're all dying, but that's besides the point. The point is, sending in one person at a time takes forever. That's brute forcing. You then use a computer to brute force, and it sends everyone in rapidly all at once, and eventually someone makes it through, and the computer says, that's the path. Now, quantum computing is where it gets real fun. Imagine instead of having 1,000 people try and walk through the maze, brute forcing the password, you got a helicopter and just went above the maze. Now, truth be told, maybe the maze is so massive that with one person above it, he can see the entire make of the maze, but still is trying to figure it out. So what do? You get 500,000 cameras to take a picture all at once of the maze and then show you the path through instantly without anyone having to go through it or any work from a computer. See, the thing about qubits is they exist in the yes and no state at the same time. So basically, you are flooding the keyhole with every possible combination instantly, and it takes minutes to crack the code.
All right. That's all I wanted to show there. I know it was a little long, but there was so much important information in there that we kind of talk about. And I thought he did the best job I've seen so far of breaking it down. You know what I mean? On a level of layman's terms, if you will. Right. And I thought that was the best way to explain qubits and how they work. And it is basically 500,000 different tiny cameras all taking a tiny portion of a picture all at once and then rendering it to you or your computer as one complete full picture, right? Something you could never do as a human in one computer or 10 computers. But when you take all of it together, turn it into one thing and send it, then it's understandable by your system, your brain, if you will, and then it's over. So that was interesting to me. Of course, there's got to be, as technology grows, there's got to be, that's the whole point of technology, is to break old things, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Bitcoin is basically broken dollar bill money. It's broken it. It's broken the classic bank credit card system. It is broken now. In that, if you look at Bitcoin, if you were to come down and you were to look at both of these systems, you would go, well, this is a broken, overcharging system that's creating billions of dollars out of charges out of thin air. You know what I mean? That aren't good for the consumer or the people selling the product, right? But it goes to the banks. So this other Bitcoin digital thing, one, it's far more secure, far less easy to hack, far safer for the purchaser and better for the other person. And it increases in value as a form of currency versus, fiat. So, clearly this one is a broken form. This is an attempt at what this exists as. So as that happens, you got to do better with all of it, I guess. Right. So,
the one thing that stuck with me while you were reading up, about this whole Google situation, they mentioned how quantum computing is going to need to be implemented sooner rather than later. And that's I feel that's a direct jab to NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, who a couple of years ago, when all of a sudden the quantum computing stocks were just booming, right? My pops made money on that, and he told me to get into that. I got into it at the wrong time. I ended up losing money on that trade, so that wasn't good for me. But a lot of people made money. In fact, I talked about it. This was when we first kind of started doing it. I mentioned quantum computing and stuff. So what happened was when it was when quantum stocks were rising, Jensen Huang got on and pretty much killed that momentum, because he said, yes, quantum computing is a thing. Yes, it's going to be part of our daily lives at some point, but you got about 15 or 30 years before that stuff is even relevant. And then all of a sudden, that was right when Google dropped their Willow quantum computing, system. And so that slowed their momentum down. Quantum stocks came crashing. Of course, they're doing okay right now. They're nowhere near their highs. Some of them aren't. But at the same time, like that statement right there, like how we're going to need quantum computing sooner rather than later. I feel like that's a direct jab. Like, take that, Jensen. Know what I'm saying? What do you mean 15, 30 years? It's going to be more like 10 or 8 or whatever.
And I wonder, man, I wonder what it will do to the market. I mean, while they may not be reacting to it immediately, it is something that's going to be happening, So, but with that in mind, now what do? We're going to roll over to the positive. You know what I mean? We've got some, let's see. Am I sharing it? Not yet. Here's some hopium for you. Our man Rob at Digital Asset News hit us with a hopium Saturday right here. And he's talking about the qualities and the positive of a bullish outlook on specifically Bitcoin and then crypto bullish data as well. So it's something to keep in mind. It's something, that I wanted to look at, because that's what we do here. We give you both sides of the equation. You know what I mean? We give you both and let you work it out, once again, because we don't give advice, because we're not all that smart. So there you go. I mean, T-Qron smart.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, no, dude, you're totally a market genius. My bad. Anyway.
No, I'm fucking with you. No, bro. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like, anybody that gets into the markets and thinks that you're gonna win 100% of the time, you're a fool.
Well, and also the true story of when you break it down, dude, like the whole point of what we do and why it's accessible to us and why we try to make it accessible to others is we're not those nerds. And I say nerds in the most complimentary and loving way. But there are those dudes that are those nerds that, you know what I mean? The fighting nerds is like a positive thing in UFC. A nerd is a positive thing in a way now, in that it's just you're really good and high proficient at what you do. You're a nerd at it, right? I'm a music nerd, right? That means that I nerd out over music. I'll dig deep into it. I'll be like, oh, and this guitarist, you know what I mean? Used this amplifier on this record. I'll nerd out, right?
So the fighting nerd is the equivalent to a wrestling mark, basically?
No, man, no. It's a really badass group of Brazilians in the UFC called Fighting Nerds, and they're just owning everything. They're killing it. And their whole thing is like, when they get done fighting, they put on little nerdy glasses and they have the tape in the middle of them. And like then Joe
that's
Rogan wear
hilarious.
them and all that. So when they win, their team runs.
So it's like,
in.
you thought I couldn't do that, but I just whipped your
Well, it's
ASS, and now I'm going back to being nerd again.
well, yeah, well, it's fighting nerd because they're like into it. They nerd out
Oh,
over it. You know what I
I
mean?
like that. I
So,
like that. I like
um,
that.
but yeah, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
Anyways, back
there
to
are
this.
those crypto and trading nerds that will know more than I will ever know. It's
Absolutely.
how their brains work. There are those guys that can read a book and tell you
Absolutely.
every word they just read. Good for them. I'm not that dude. I'm an everyday dude, you know, or maybe a little less than, but I'm trying. But I know, you know, everybody we're talking to, you're everyday men and women too. And what we want to do, if anything, is give you just some information that empowers you to make the best decisions for you. Once again, not advice, just information. But we want you to know that you don't have to be the nerds. We watch the nerds, so you don't have to, right? We communicate with them, those guys that are high level that may be hard to have a beer with, maybe hard to have a cup of coffee with, right? But they're into this stuff, and we should have access to it too. So we try to basically be the bridge that crosses them to us. So
Yeah,
no,
they
we're
may
not
be
the
able
smartest.
to. They may not be easy to have a cup of coffee with, but I'm real easy to have a cup of coffee with, or a protein shake. So you know what I'm saying, Mike.
I'm
Even
sure you
you know what
think
I'm saying.
so. But anyway, I believe you believe that. And that's the most
I was just
important
about to
thing.
say, Mike is even easier to have a coffee, to keep a cup of
No,
coffee
I
with.
am
So
not.
hit us up. Hit us up in the comments and let us know if you're sending us some Starbucks or something. Let's go.
Go. I am easy to send a Starbucks card to. I'll say it like
Right. There you go. You got to create the link for the visionary value so they can start sending in some, some donations or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
PG Pod, man, they got to come. They can donate every Monday night while we're
Let them
live
know.
with crypto. We have the crypto wallet. If you go to our Rumble
Except
channel where the
crypto.
liveness is, we accept crypto. We got the Rumble wallet. I'll show you all that in just a second.
Yeah.
Check this out. We're going to drop some Rob information while I pull that up.
So as far as like Bitcoin, the reason why I like it so much is because it really does a great job of fighting inflation. Now, some people say, well, is it a hedge against inflation? Long term, it is. Short term, I mean, let's be
Not so
honest.
much.
We're down 50% from October 6th. That's a bit of a drop, wouldn't you say? So when we're down that much, it's kind of hard to say, well, is it a short-term store of value? Hard pressed to say that, but for his long-term store of value, yes, absolutely. And there's a big difference between inflation and hyperinflation. Hyperinflation, you can take a look at Argentina. In 2023, it went up over 100%. So if you were saving everything in the Argentinian currency and you just had that in your savings account, guess what? Everything doubled overnight. You reduce your purchasing cost by 50%. This is a big problem. So
Jeez.
With hyperinflation, that is one side to it. Of course, Bitcoin can be a big help for that. But just for inflation, and again, just to remind everybody, everything I talk about, I put links in to kind of so you can extrapolate this data. So you can't just say, oh, this guy's just talking out of his whatever. This is actually information that you can take a look at. Links are in the description for this presentation and everything I'm talking about right here. So as far as inflation goes, I think it's important to distinguish. Inflation comes from one place and one place only. It's the government. It's the government and their ability to print dollars. Now, some people say, well, inflation actually comes from these corporations because these greedy corporations, all they're going to do is just keep raising prices because that's what they do. That's what Elizabeth Warren told me. That's what senators told me. That's what my president told me globally. That's really not true. It really just comes down to the amount of money that is being printed. That is the number one factor. Now, there are some small things, I got you, but just take a look at this as far as the M2 money supply in the United States. We can just see that if we overlay this with the S&P 500, does the S&P 500 actually go up, or is it just because we have more money? And that's in the Americas. That's in the United States of America. If we take a look at the global money supply, I mean, look, America's number one in a lot of things, but it's not printing money. Take a look at China. Almost 50 trillion
I like when he does
of
that.
their M2 money
China.
supply has been printed, and it hasn't really been that long. It's almost a vertical line. So if we take a look at this against the euro, Japanese yen, German, well, now euro as well, we can see who is printing the most amount. And China's doing a heck of a job and giving us a run for our M2 money supply as it's printing like crazy. So this is where things come from. This is why Bitcoin is so important to fight against inflation.
Of anything for regular Joes, this is the what, man. Okay, so in my opinion, this is the most important thing we cover for regular Joes, okay? Because you get sold that bill of goods. You get sold that bill. If I work hard, put my money in my bank account, I say, you know, I bury my cash, if you will, you know, buried in a savings account or whatever, you think you're going to be okay. And it's fair to think that. And you've been taught that if you're smart and frugal with your money over time, you'll do better. And that's just not the way it works. Your money is a devaluing asset. It's so hard for people to understand this dollar bill I'm holding will not buy as many things next year as it will buy this year, by the tune of 7% each year. So, you know, in 10 years, this dollar bill is worth 30 cents. Whereas if I can buy something that's at least keeping up with a roughly 7% devaluation or gaining 7%, I'm breaking even at least. At least when I have $100,000 in my account that I've saved up over 20 years, if you will, and, you know, I know that when I pull that money out, it won't be $30,000 worth of value for my retirement. It'll be $100,000, which isn't that much when you're looking at the last 20 years of your life, man. It's really not. So,
make that money grow. Make that money grow. If you got it, listen, never invest with money that you just can't afford to lose, right? Or can't afford to have access to right away. Like if you need, like if you're one of those that, I'm gonna invest. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna start buying all this stock, and you know, in 10 years I'm gonna cash out, and then the next thing you know, your car broke down, and now it's gonna cost you $1,000. You're like, oh man, I gotta take out I gotta sell all my stock. Okay, I'm out. Bye. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Don't do that because don't be that person. I mean, I get it. Life happens, but the markets, if you're going to be a long-term investor, like that's really what it is. Like that's money that to me, that money is being washed up and down. Like it's in a spin cycle for a long time. And God knows where the spin cycle is going to take me in the next 5, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, however long I'm going to be alive for, but it's in a cycle. Okay. And the goal is to have it grow, right? Rather than it just sit in the bank and collect dust, maybe 1% a year. You know, 1%? What is 1%? That's nothing. Like, you know, there's people out there that make hundreds of percents in one trade in one day, thousands of percents. You know what I'm saying? Not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, I had 146% gain on one trade. Like, what do you mean? While your cash is just sitting there for 1 year getting 1%, I just made 146% in a day.
There you go. And even to those who are quick trade averse, as we just showed you with silver and gold, and we broke it down last week with crypto. I mean, if you would have just bought a year ago, you'd be up $1,000 per ounce on your gold. You'd be up $50 darn near an ounce on your silver. That's crazy. Really? From 30 to 70. You know what I mean? That's more than double. You've doubled. You know, you're up over 125%. And once again, you didn't do anything. You just bought some silver and let it sit. And now you have 100% more money than you did, or more than that than you started. You could pull $20, $25 an ounce out and still be $20 to the good on your investment sitting there. But you could also put that money into a bank account and have less today than you did last year when you put it in. That's the thing I want good, hardworking folks to know, is that they're, you know what I mean? That not only is there no guarantees in this, but if you just play it as simple as possible, you're going to get hoed a little bit. Here's what Joe Rogan, he had a financial guy on his show, wanted to show this part.
And especially if you want to share this with somebody else. So just take a listen. It's about 2 minutes.
So explain this to me. 50 years ago, a barber.
And first of all, sorry about the audio. This is the video that we have.
Sorry. Thank you for reminding me. Hey, man, it ain't
there we go.
It ain't your birthday today. You better work, bud. You better produce. Let's go. Okay, check this out.
Post it out.
A barber and a waitress could buy a house. with a big yard for a dog and raise 4 kids, meat and potatoes on the dinner table every night. And now an accountant and a lawyer can't do that. Why is that?
Well, there's a lot of spending and a lot of making money, a lot of just
cash,
turning, just making dollar bills with nothing behind it, nothing to back it.
This is the biggest fraud perpetrated on the working class people in the last 100 years.
Printing money is just insane. It's just the idea you just print more money. It's like, and people go, oh, okay.
Well, it looks painless at first,
Right.
but if you have an economy with 10 apples and $10, it's $1 an apple. You double the number of dollars to 20, but you still only have 10 apples. Well, all of a sudden it's $2 an apple. It's not that the cost of apples has gone up. It still costs the same resources to grow and pick the apples. It's that the price has gone up because the value of the money has gone down.
Right.
So in America, over the last 55 years, you've doubled the number of homes in America from about 70 million to 150 million. You know how much the money supply has grown? 30 times. So you have twice the homes, but 30 times the cash. So what's happened? Housing costs have gone up 15-fold in 55 years. And now an entire generation of kids can't afford homes. We have exactly the same problem in Canada. This is the biggest wealth transfer from the working class to the elites, from I say the have-nots to the have-yachts. And Washington, Wall Street love it, by the way, because it inflates the stock market, inflates the bureaucracy. Politicians get to spend, CEOs get their stocks inflated. But it destroys the working people, and we need to get back to hard money. Everything should be getting cheaper, by the way. You know, it takes 60 to 80% less resources to grow food. You grow 4 times the food on the same acre, get 4 times as much milk from the same cow. We use 80% less water and fertilizer. So why isn't it that food is not less expensive? It's because all of those gains are being erased by monetary inflation. So it's not that food is more costly, it's that the value, the money we use to buy it has less purchasing power. And we need to do what the Swiss do, which is they don't print money. They have balanced budgets. They have almost no deficit, and they have almost zero inflation in Switzerland. They have the strongest money in the world, the Swiss franc. And we would all be better if we operated like the Swiss when it comes to our money.
Isn't that?
Yep.
That is crazy,
100%.
Rob. Yeah, man. What did you think of that? This kind of, you know what I mean? What I wanted to touch on, but he got so deep into it, and that is the biggest fraud perpetuated on the working class.
And let's take this to like an average Joe level, right? Okay. So last week, and you even commented on it, I'm in Hawaii. Everybody knows that if you ever heard of Hawaii or you ever been here, you know about Zippy's restaurant. Okay. Zippy's restaurant.
Whenever I hear the word Zippy's, I literally hear the words mean cuz.
Mean cuz, right. Now, it was $10.99. Okay, so they're doing a special for the next 5 weeks for $10.99 for the same plate that they charge about $18 for, right? Okay. So, I posted it. One of your friends and followers of the show, she was like, "Thank you. I really needed this. Thank you for this information." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, look, people really need stuff like this, because when you have big families and you can afford to feed those big families for like $30 or $40, you know what I'm saying? Boom, that's a win, because normally it'll cost you about $80 to $100 to feed about 4. You know what I'm saying? When you're going out to Zippy's, okay? So I'm just putting the word out there, right? A lot of people don't have the app. Maybe they don't have the they're not subscribed to the mailing list or whatever. Anyways, just yesterday, she commented and said, "Hey, T, thanks for putting me on to that special. I just had one of those. Man, that chicken was bomb. It's actually chili and fried chicken, Korean fried chicken. It's amazing. So if you guys are here in Hawaii until May 3rd or whatever, get that special." The point I'm trying to make is, my comment to her was, doesn't it taste so much better when it was $10.99 versus $17.99? You got to pay like prices back in the 90s, right? So the point being is that, like the gentleman just said, with the suit on, he said, it's not that the food costs more to produce. It's just that, there's more money out there. So they're raising the prices like there's no tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? Like the same thing that we were eating for $10.99 back 20 years ago is now $20.99, $25.99, Like,
Yep.
It's just crazy. It really is. Like, and he's right. It should cost less because, like he mentioned, like technology has come so far. We're using less resources. You know what I'm saying? So why can't we get it more at more of a discount? It's just not going to happen, especially since like COVID. I don't think we're ever going to see prices go down again. You know, they might go down a little bit like they did recently. But not much, if you ask me. And that's
Well,
sad.
and people forget it's all centering around oil. You know what
Oh,
I mean? And diesel
yep.
fuel, because
That old
right,
word.
to get that chicken, to get really, and it's, to get the flour, because they don't grow the flour in Hawaii. That flour is coming from somewhere else to y'all, right? And because you're not in a main thoroughfare where a plane can fly into Kansas, loaded up on a truck, you know what I mean? It gets loaded on a plane in Minnesota because that's where they're making the flour. I don't know, but just ride with me. They make the flour in a factory in Minnesota, and nowadays even China. They fly that into Canada, right? And then, or in the top of Canada, or in the Vancouver area, it gets loaded onto a truck. That truck
Mhm.
can drive south all the way to the bottom of Florida, Houston, Texas, Los Angeles, California. You know what I mean? And it's just that amount of diesel fuel, whereas it's got to get flown to you, right? And then a lot of times it gets flown to Big Island where they warehouse so many things. And then it's got to get on another airplane, which more cost, and then get to you. And then the cost to get it to you from all the oil and diesel fuel and all of that just costs more. So by the time it lands in your restaurant, the cost of the goods sold is, who knows how much more. So it's,
And whatever Mike just said right now is what the people that run this state use every time they ask why prices are so high. That's the mumbo jumbo they give you. Okay, the mental gymnastics they make you that play in your head. That's what it is. Yeah,
but I mean, it does cost more. Just like Alaska is
yeah.
actually more
It costs
expensive than
more, but
Hawaii.
does it really cost that much more? Okay, it might cost $1 more, bro.
Yeah.
But
No,
why
no, no.
you spend? Why you charging us $5?
Well, and
If
if
it
you break
costs
it
you
down,
one more, charge me an extra $1. Don't charge me an extra $4 on top of it. You feel
you want
me?
to get, yeah,
That's my
well,
point.
and if you want to get really mad, look at all the extra taxes in Hawaii. You know what I mean? Just taxes on taxes on taxes for
You
no
go to the
reason other
grocery
than
store.
get it.
You go to the grocery store. It's 15 cents per brown paper bag. You go to the grocery store and buy soda. It's 6 cents per bottle, per can. So if you got 12 in the box, that's 12 times 6 on top of the price, on top of the tax. Why? Just, anyways.
Yeah, because
Woo! That's
man,
why we work out on this side, baby.
that's
So
because
I
Josh
can release
Green's
some of this goddamn stress.
Josh
This,
Green's
ooh,
look,
sorry.
Josh Green's air conditioning costs a lot of money for that mansion. And if you don't pay
Listen,
those
man.
taxes, his wife is
Mhm.
going to be hot. Okay. So,
Oh, and did you
sorry.
see Hiko? Did you see Hawaiian Electric Company is going to raise their prices by 20 to 30% coming up real soon because of the oil?
And wait, and because they're building 4 new data centers out there. I talked to somebody out there who's rather livid because it makes no sense because you guys are on the
Ugh.
water. You guys could literally build floating data centers the way Elon's talking about putting them in space. You guys could build barges that you put the data centers on and take up no land in Hawaii whatsoever. But they're not even, or there's, the uninhabited islands out there that like just kind of sit there that like you can't really put any humans on. There's not like that kind of thing. You could put data centers on those too, but they're just going to do it where you're populated and real estate's the most expensive because they have the money to, and screw the people. But yeah, man, the data centers there are going to cost you more money. Think about the water and electricity they use. Somebody's got to
Speaking
pay
of
for that.
water,
Yeah.
speaking of water, Hawaii is due for a third Kona low storm. Okay,
No way. Yeah.
yes, next week, starting like Wednesday. Okay, the third one. Now, last run, I saw an article posted by I think KHON. They said it was not dollars, but 2 trillion gallons of water that was dumped. That's what they're estimating.
Woo.
That's how much excess water the island got from the storms.
Good
Two
Lord.
trillion gallons. And now
How's
we're
every-
set for a third one.
How's that recovery coming?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm fine where I'm at, but God only knows how things are, going on the North Shore. Which actually, that's good that you asked, because I'm going to check in after this with some of my people out there. I know some really good friends that were actually directly affected by this out there in the North Shore, and yeah, man. So I don't know. I mean, where I'm at in town is cool. Like, but God only knows what's coming up next. We'll see. It's a ride. It's a whew, third
Y'all
one.
hang in there. Speaking of good things coming up next, boom. The Motley Fool, one of my favorite websites, does kind of what we do, tries to connect everyday folks with the markets. We broke down some positive in Bitcoin. We broke down some good reasons why Bitcoin is good and why it is a safe harbor and a good hedge against inflation. What's going on with it currently. We also broke down maybe potentially some of the negatives. We've done some of that. We broke down the good and the story of precious metals. Now we jump over to the stocks real quick. Motley Fool just released their best AI stocks to buy for the rest of 2026 updated. And this is important. It's getting a lot of buzz, and I really like it. We talk a lot about these. And I'm just going to go over them real quick. Of course, number one, NVIDIA with the biggest market cap, 0.2% dividend yield, and it is semiconductors. And then you have Alphabet, which is Google, which has a 29% yield, which is huge. And then, of course, it's Google. Then Alphabet, also owned by Google, another Google company right there, which is specifically the Google search and the front end user products, is up by 28%. So it looks like Google is winning all of that. That's probably why they're trying to destroy Bitcoin, because they want to run the world, now that I think about it. And if they can take the place, you know what I mean, then they win. Then you have CoreWeave, which is an interesting one that we don't talk a lot about, but it is listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the list right here, IT services. And it's currently only $82 per share. Right now, as you can see, it looks like a pretty good buy right there. And then when you go down to CoreWeave, it talks about it just a second. Let's see here. CoreWeave, number 4, excuse me. It may be the closest thing to a pure play AI infrastructure stock. The company's cloud platform was designed specifically for AI workloads and counts customers like NVIDIA, OpenAI, Microsoft, and Meta among its core clients. That's huge. Revenue growth has been explosive with CoreWeave. It went from minimal sales in 2022 to $1.9 billion in 2024 and is expected to generate more than $10 billion in revenue in 2026. That's crazy. It goes from less than 2 to 10 in 2 years. That growth comes with risk, though. Microsoft accounted for 67% of revenue in 25, and the company carries heavy debt and large capital expenditures, but it is not all that uncommon for us to see that with our tech and AI stocks. It's a high money gain. It's a high money play, all of it. It's like dealing in expensive cars or medical. It's all big money stuff. And then nearly all of CoreWeave's revenue is directly tied to AI demand. That is not so much of a risk because AI demand is only getting more and more and more. And if they can, the secret is staying ahead of the curve. That's the secret there. For investors seeking direct exposure to AI infrastructure, CoreWeave offers a high upside along with a bit of elevated risk. So wanted to break that down there. Very interesting. Have you heard of CoreWeave before? What are your thoughts on that?
Yep. I've been watching it since it IPO'd. I don't have that stock. People have been making money, but a lot of people have been losing money too, because they bought at the top and it crashed heavy. That's why it's in the 80s right now. That was in the 120s, I believe, recently. So, but yeah, I don't own it, but yeah, sounds like it's going to be a killer stock come the next few years. I'm heavy in Nvidia, and I don't know, man. Kind of disappointed it just hasn't been making the moves that I was hoping it would. Still holding. It went up to like 210 or something like that right after the last earnings, and it just came crashing back down to like as low as 162. it is what it is. I was really hoping for like 250 already by this summer, 300 by the end of the year, or 300 by beginning of 2027 for Nvidia. Nvidia is a huge backer of CoreWeave. As they just mentioned, they have a lot of other companies too that as a big clients, but Nvidia has actually invested into CoreWeave. So yeah, AI is gonna be booming. It's a lot of people say that, oh, it's just a bubble and this, that, and the third. Yeah, it might be, but I don't think it's gonna pop anytime soon.
No, and if you look,
Not
man,
yet.
remember, it's funny because we're right on the edge of a shoot up. 1 year ago, NVIDIA was literally, if you bought it on 4/8/2025, right? It would have been less than $100 you could buy it for. And then as of today, it is 177.39.
Yeah,
So
but that's if you bought it at the very low and the crash and stuff like that. I remember when it was $90. I'm actually sick I didn't load up more, but yep, you're right. If you bought in around that time, look at that. That's
I
a
mean,
lot. But for somebody that's been holding already, and you're like, you want to go that, you want to see it go to like 250, 300. But it's like what Motley Fool said, it's their number one AI pick still. You know what I mean? So
I was gonna say, and look, it's
bro.
already on that. Look at that rebound, bro. Straight
Yeah,
up,
but it's choppy.
straight
Look at the
up.
last 6 months. Look at the last 6 months. Look at
Yeah,
the
but
last
it's
six
still
months.
straight up. It's still, man. It's
And
still.
yeah, for today, but tomorrow it just it's choppy. It's choppy, and it's been trading in a range. That's the problem. Nvidia holders will tell you they're not too happy that it's been in a range for the last 6 or 7 months. Like the last earnings report when they blew it out the water, everybody was like, okay, the overhang is probably gone. It's been almost 6 months. There's no action. It might happen this time around. It did just for a moment, and then it just annoying. But it's just the nature of the game. It is what it is. Patience, patience, patience. That's all.
Remember, after the blowout success of its Blackwell platform, NVIDIA expects to roll out next generation Rubin platform in the second half of 2026. And this is key right here. Demand continues to outstrip supply, underscoring NVIDIA's dominant position. And one interesting thing, little hopium for you there, my brother. Beyond data centers, NVIDIA is investing in autonomous vehicles, robotics, and physical AI. These initiatives remain a small part of revenue today, but they could become meaningful growth drivers for NVIDIA over time. And just so you know, autonomous vehicles, robotics, and physical AI on the other side, Tesla, Elon, Doge, all of those are heavily. I mean, Elon has basically quit making a lot of Tesla cars because they're making these robots. I don't know if you've seen or heard of these new robot pets that they're
Absolutely.
making, but it is
Absolutely.
crazy. And the fact that NVIDIA is manufacturing the chips for that, man, I actually want to buy NVIDIA right now because I'm like, dang, I should have bought it cheaper. It is in my opinion, right now, especially because of their investment. I mean, autonomous cars are the way it's going. In 20
Hmm.
years, people are going to go, you used to drive a car in the same way that 100 years ago, people be like, you used to ride a horse everywhere? You mean people just used to ride horses everywhere? Like there were no cars? No, there were no cars. I mean, now it's 200 years ago, but you know what I mean? 200 years ago, there were no cars. There
Yeah.
were steam engine cars. And it was so inefficient compared to a horse. You would much rather just use a horse, right? We have autonomous driving cars, but they're so inefficient, you'd rather just drive your car. There's going to be a point. Think about what is the number one cause of death in America today? Car accidents. What's the number one cause of casualty incidents, meaning people who are damaged, they can't walk anymore, they're maimed? Car accidents by far, right? What costs us the most time and money out of our life and out of our pocket that our job doesn't budget in for, that we have to budget into our lives, getting in that car and going where we have to go? And what if there's a wreck or an accident? That costs us more time and money. Now, imagine if all the cars were robot cars and they knew. And when there was a wreck 2 miles ahead down your road, the robot car was talking to the other robot car going, it will be quicker to reroute this way. And AI has already rerouted your journey before you're even aware there's an accident. You know what I mean? Trust. That's going to be a thing very soon. You know what I mean? I mean, And once again, I'm not like trying to make some bold prediction. I'm just basing it on the past. Typewriters went to word processors, went to computers, went to laptops, went to cell phones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Horses
Absolutely.
went to, steam engine cars and crappy cars like that, went to your gas cars, went to your e-cars. So just wait. So anyway, a little bit of a breakdown on the top 10 AI stocks, the best stocks to get into right now. We wanted to show you those because it's important, man. I think one of the most solid things right now in the market, if you're trying to get in or trying to make headway of it, one of the most consistent things you can get into is these AI and tech stocks. So Oracle down at the bottom, Palantir, of course, Amazon. We covered it last week. Still a good buy. Alibaba, very interesting. I think there's a lot there as they basically cover all of the Asian world, which is even more people than the Western world. So keep that in mind. They're the Amazon of the Asian world.
Right.
And then, of course, good old Adobe, good old fashioned Adobe, still holding it down.
Good old-fashioned Adobe.
Remember Adobe? Adobe, bro.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah, some of the older companies are making a comeback. You have your Adobes, you have your IBMs, you have your SanDisks. SanDisk
Let's
SanDisk is absolutely ridiculous. If
really?
you look at
Are they
that chart.
coming back?
Go SNDK. Pull up SNDK, bro. I think it's about 600% or so. Wait, I'm sorry. I might be mistaken. It may be like in 1,000% gain since it IPO'd. I mean, since it literally went back on the market. If you pull up the chart, let's look at it. Max time.
Let me hold on. Max, bam. Oh yeah, look at that.
What's the percent gain? Max time.
Market cap. Hold on. PE. Previous close. High.
It's right up there in the green.
Oh yeah,
Plus.
1,848.
There you go. Remember, I was just saying. I'm sorry. I think it's 1,000+% gain since it. And when did it IPO? When was this? When did it come out? Back on the market. I'm sorry. Like a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, February of last year.
There you go. So in February of last year, if you bought that stock for how much? It was like what, $40? $36. Today it would be worth $701.
And at its low in April of, in fact, literally 1 year ago. Literally 1 year ago, it was at its low of $30. So you could have bought.
Bro, if you put $100 in.
10 shares. Yeah, you could have bought 10 shares for $300.
$300.
And today, those 10 shares would be worth
$701
each. Those 10 shares would be worth $7,000.
Thank you. Where else can you do that? Just in the market.
Who saw SanDisk coming?
Thank you.
SanDisk. Now I have to learn more. No, I don't want that. I need to know. See, now we're running long, but I got to figure out what the heck, bro. You just dropped it. How did I miss this? See, now I feel
There's
dumb.
a lot of things. I miss a lot of things, bro. There's a lot going on in the market. There's thousands of stocks out there. It's hard to keep up with everything, but that's why you have shows like Visionary Value every Monday night for the average Joe who doesn't know, so your money can grow, bro. Sorry.
Wow.
I got into rapper mode real quick.
See, that was 4 days ago, and that's not six. There we go. Boom. Let's check this out. SanDisk sees significant stock recovery amid market fluctuations. We're just going to hit these key takeaways real fast. We've got our guy, and we're heading out. Recent market analysis by Morgan Stanley labels the drop in U.S. memory stocks, including SanDisk, as a healthy reset rather than a downward spiral. The firm highlights the importance of consistent AI demand as a booster for future market performance. Turbo quant development from Google hints at sustained long-term support for memory demand. Strong attention from Reddit and Wall Street bets has propelled SanDisk's gains, seeing an 11.6 increase from previous sessions. The buzz indicates growing speculative interest outside conventional markets. I
didn't know it was a Wall Street. I didn't know it was a Reddit darling. Okay. Yep. Reddit. Those Reddit readers, boy, they be pushing stocks. Let me tell you. Wall Street.
It has
bets.
an ETF. That's why. Yep. Of course.
Yep. SNXX.
Yep.
Is that the one? SNXX?
Yeah, it says the SNDU ETF's new 2
Oh,
times
SNDU.
daily long exposure could lead to higher liquidity and increased speculative trading, impacting SanDisk stock market activities. Profit-taking activities have surfaced, with SanDisk shares falling moderately after a recent bullish streak, suggesting a cooling of short-term speculative interest.
Okay,
Latest
so you see
update.
that ETF that you just talked about? Those are the types of plays that I get into, like the ones that I was just talking about, GDXU and AGQ, the leverage ETFs. So be careful with those. They do magnify your gains, but they also magnify your losses. So yeah.
Let's see here. Reddit's attention. Reddit's influence on Wall Street bets can't be underestimated. With SanDisk, and remember that Reddit's influence on Wall Street bets can't be underestimated.
Not at all.
Just for this specific stock we're talking about, guys.
Not
if you
at
go
all.
to Wall Street bets, you can find the core of what they're believing and basing a lot of their information on in Reddit.
Yes.
With SanDisk's positive trend over the previous sessions, we're witnessing the powerful force of social media as a stock market mover. Enthusiasts on Reddit have rapidly increased the buzz, creating waves in permanent trading, such as the juggernaut effect of Reddit-backed attention, which has now become a formidable player within the realms of stock market rallies. It reflects a shift. This is what happened with the game stonks, if you remember that.
GameStop,
It reflects a shift, yeah. However, potential swing. Yeah, I could have a swing. Conclusion, basically, this stock is news, not investment advice. We get that. Okay. Anyway, long story short, yes, it's blowing up. One of the things that we're talking about, and this is something that people notice, they're starting, those little things people notice. And you're like, wait a minute. And that is, everything is taking more space. They're starting to charge for space. Everything's getting faster. You're getting access to your data quicker, but you run out of space to store it. Like you're running out of space on your computers. You're running out of hard drives. I mean, you can have a stack. I mean, I'm getting a stack of hard drives now, right? And and now like you go to Google, and if you have too much stuff, it's like we'll charge you to give you more space.
So oh yeah, speaking of which, you just reminded me I got to pay for more space on my Gmail account. I'm at 14 gigabytes out of the 15 gigabytes they give you for free.
I know, man. Or you can just or just create another.
Or you can clean out your shit. Oh, sorry.
Clean out, yeah.
I didn't
clean
even
out
say that.
your shit. No, it's all right. Clean it out and then create another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then create another account and move half your stuff over, and then you're
right.
good.
Right.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? So, but definitely all that's spam. But they do that on purpose, so people don't spend the hour or 2 hours cleaning out their email.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, I'll give you $20. And you know what I mean? You don't think Google could filter that spam out? You don't think Google's level of technology, they can't stop you from getting crappy spam emails, really?
No, they can't stop the spam, but they can crack your Bitcoin code.
Yeah.
Things that make you go, that's why I'm not.
Yeah, they can't stop your spam, and so they have to charge you $30 a month to rent storage from them. You know what I mean? But they can literally ruin the entire crypto universe.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, all right, man, we're gonna go out. This is the Wall Street Trapper, our big homie.
Oh boy, hopefully he doesn't have one of those weird messages
know,
again.
That
was so funny that week. Oh man,
he's changing culture though. This is his video about him changing culture. Let's go. Wall Street Trapper. Wall Street looks like us now.
It's powerful, and then you have people that hit me like, "Trap, we need that on a keychain," or like people don't hit me up and be like, "Trap, this my screensaver, dog." One of my guys, he DM me every time the show come on, and all he DM me is the mantra. We all have leadership in us. Some of us don't step into it. I like to step into it because I like to grow from it. But it also challenges you to consistently self-reflect, and it challenges you to die to yourself all the time for a greater purpose. And for me, that's what the Wall Street looks like us now represent. If we can get 1 million people or more to represent this, then that's not about me. That's about changing the culture.
There you go, man.
True that. True that.
Not about any one person. Also, it's inspiring. Man, it's inspiring. Because, yeah, as a leader, as somebody who wants to lead a movement, you have to die to yourself. You have to take, and this is something you understand because of that mental discipline you have, but you have to give up what you would consider to be a normal life to make great things happen. And sometimes it sucks. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the way you want it. It's not going to be peaches and cream at the perfect temperature with the perfect amount of cinnamon. And you know what I mean? That's just not how it works. If you want it, you got to go to war with the army you have. You got to sacrifice what you got to sacrifice. If it's sleep, if it's time, if it's any extra money that you might spend going on a vacation or taking your wife out to dinner, but you're like, no, I got to put this $100 towards this because I see a future where I can spend all the money, because money's not an issue. Budgeting will not be an issue. It'll just be wise investment tools that we label as money. But right now, this is my lifeblood. You know what I mean? And I have to do what I have to do and invest wisely with every minute and every dollar I have. And that means I have to die to what I would want to be more comfortable, you know, kind of thing. I respect that. I appreciate that. And that's what it is, man, to be a leader. Like, you have to die to what it would be probably way easier to eat McDonald's and watch TV than it would to get up and go work out after a long ass day. You know what I mean? But you die to that. You die to yourself and those easy things to do what is better, which also is what is harder a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely. You do have to, you know,
I made $1 million.
make sacrifices. Essentially, that's really what it is. You have to sacrifice something to get to somewhere else. You know what I mean? The average person enjoys these luxuries, this comfortable way of life. Some of us are meant to be a little bit more than average. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, some are born to lead. I didn't think I was, but I just somehow started doing it just because I took charge. I had a crew. Shout out to my boys, the Hammer Brothers, Jake and Joe Kerr. Love y'all. You know, throughout the years, I've had other rappers that have been associated with me and other promoters and stuff like that, who look to me as somewhat of a leader. And it's humbling, it's honoring, but at the same time, it's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. Um, but it's all about self-improvement every single day. Try to be better than you were yesterday. You know what I mean? And little sacrifices compound into really big sacrifices and rewards in the end, if you ask me. I'm not,
It's the
I
only
don't feel,
thing. Yeah.
I don't feel I'm particularly worthy of a lot of the blessings that I've been afforded in the last 42 years, but at the same time, God thinks that I am, right? Maybe it's just because but who knows? I know that, I personally know that most of us have higher callings and we're put here to do great things. We just don't come into our own. You know what I'm saying? Some of us just are never able to live up to the potential that others set forward for us and have, you know, like expectations for. And I pray that I can only live up to those. And that message that Mr. Wall Street Trapper just shared with us is very inspirational and hits differently for people like myself. Whether you're a leader or a follower or just somebody that, you know, just you're neither. Like, it doesn't matter. Just try to do better than you did yesterday. You know what I'm saying? That it's a great message. I love ending our shows with that because it gives me something to think about over the weekend.
And now here's one. Well, that one was motivational. This one is inspiring. Check this one out. This is awesome. I think you'll like this too.
I made $1 million in one play. I started crying.
I can't even wait for that day. Oh,
because I had told my squad I'm gonna make $1 million in a play. I had been saying it for 6 months. So when Oprah said, you don't get out of life what you get out of life what you, I believe it's good soil up here somewhere. I'm trying to tell you. You gotta wrestle and you gotta annihilate that old version of you that think that way. You gotta start believing everything is possible. I made $1 million in one play.
There you go.
I started
That
crying.
one was quick. I just love it. You got to start believing you will not get what you do not believe you will not get. Yes. You can only get the things you believe you're going to get. It is simple. It is profound. And half the things I think we deal with in life, from our cell phones to our technology to politics to news to interpersonal relationships and everything else, is so meant to distract us from the most profound things. And profound is the deepest amount of knowledge and the most simple, right? Profound is a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. That is a hardcore miracle that I'm still amazed at. And we don't even think anything of it, but yet we live in a world where a little fuzzy crawling thing becomes a beautiful flying thing, right? And we just accept it. And it is what it is, but that's the reality we live in. And if we accepted that reality, a tadpole, you know what I mean, becomes a full-on frog. It's things evolve. We are one way and then we are another. And yeah, man, you believe you can be better and more, and you get to be better and more. But it starts with faith and belief in yourself. So
yeah. And I can't wait till the day I hit $1 million in one trade. Ooh, boy.
It's coming.
Oh, man. Jeez. I got to start playing options real soon. Yeah, those are options, bro. That's how I'm like, the average, unless you have like 6 figures on every trade to where like even just a little bit of a percent moves equals $1 million in a game. Like, nah. Yeah.
Well, he rolled it. Like he did the trade thing. The old the old story of a guy who takes a paperclip and starts trading and trades it all the way up to getting a new car, because he trades the paperclip for a pen, and then he trades the pen for a stapler. Then he trades the stapler for a hammer. Then he trades the hammer. You know what I mean? And he goes all the way up to where, you know what I mean? Because it's about who needs what at the time and what they're willing to give for that thing they need. Very interesting to keep in mind. And that's how you build that wealth, man. So, yeah, man. So tell the people where they can find you, T-Qron. Let's go.
Hit me on the social media tip. T-Qron is how you find me on Facebook, social media, including Instagram, your TikToks, revamping the website, t-qron.com. It'll be up with new stuff real soon. One thing I wanted to give my boy a shout out. And I posted about him, I think earlier this week. This homie of mine in Las Vegas, Bobby. This man started just quietly taking my advice off of posts, you know what I'm saying? Health advice, because I made a huge transformation. In fact, at the end of this month, April 25th of 2026, marks my 3 years of my health journey. And this gentleman took my advice quietly, then started messaging me, picking my brain left and right almost every other day about health, nutrition, vitamins, supplements, workouts, whatever. And 10 weeks later, he posted that he lost 50 pounds. Okay. All right. So, point I'm getting at, follow me for stuff like that. Follow me for my opinions on health, wealth, music, whatever. And it's all free. How many indie artists out there are changing lives, helping people change their lives daily? Not many.
Not many at all. And it is all free. But if you want to keep everything going, if you want to support T-Qron, if you want to support visionary value, I'm going to show you something right now.
Yep.
Super easy way to do it. You go to rumble.com/PT pod. Oh, look, what is that? That's our show right there, right?
Yep.
So that's our show, and you're watching our show. Oh, look, that's Mike and T doing their thing.
Effing greed to try to get rich quick from the market.
See how pumped up you were during this show? You're a little more mellow today. But see how you were pumped up during this show? I got to get you back there. I got to get the passion back. What happened, T?
Man, I had a long night, bro.
Yo, T, let's go. And you're like,
that's not the case at all.
I'm kidding. I'm a comedian. I make jokes. Anyway,
that's funny.
You see us there.
It was just just a lack of sleep, brother. That's all it is.
I'm kidding. I'm just joking. There's that handsome dude in T-Qron right there. And so you see right here, it says tip, right? Boom. You click the tip button. You click on it. Or if you're on your phone, you click the tip button. And this comes up and you can click on it. And you can tip us with crypto. As you see, it says tip with another crypto wallet because we accept them all. You can do real cash. You can do literally any kind of crypto you want from your wallet directly into the PT Pod Show Rumble wallet. We make it easy to bless us and to be a blessing, because I know you
Mhm.
want that, and we love it. And guys, we want to thank you so much for coming through.
Yeah, man.
Tomorrow night will be 3 T's, the Tailgate Theology with Pastor Tony on the Pastor Tony channel. And then, of course, it's going to be Power Sports Time with me and the boys doing the sports thing. Remember, PT Pod Show, every weeknight, we have something awesome for you. Make sure you follow T-Qron because he has something awesome for you multiple times a day. Every
baby.
day.
Every day. Oh, and one more thing. Shout out to our sister show. We love
Yes.
y'all.
We want to thank the feed. We want to thank Faces of Epilepsy. And, of course, we want to thank everybody involved with talentedmotherfucker.com. You guys are amazing. The gear is amazing. T-Qron official ambassador. Thank you for making sure I have the hat. And then a quick personal note. My birthday was last week. I want to thank you, T. I want to thank you, Lisa. I want to thank everybody of the feed, my boy, Enrique. I want to thank all of you as this is the first show that we do of the week. This is everybody's going to be seeing us first. I just want to thank all of you. It was heartfelt. It was wonderful. It touched me. I appreciate it. I know how busy we get. I know how crazy life can be. And the fact that all of you took a moment out of your day to wish me well and to wish me a happy birthday. And then those of you that really expressed the love means more than you'll ever know to me. As you know, man, I do this for the legacy. I do this so when I'm gone, hopefully we have something good to leave people with. And, you know, you guys confirm what I'm doing with my life is not completely stupid, and I appreciate that. I'm goofy, but I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.
Listen, you only turned 21
I know
50 times during your life, right? So we had to make it special.
Dude, look, man, just because I'm 21 doesn't mean nothing, okay? I know everything, as all 21-year-olds do. Guys, thank you so much. This has been Visionary Value. We will see you next week. We love you.
Yeah.